guys, Reese here from Psalm 71:17, and it has been a crazy summer. Me and the operants and Sai, we've been all over the map this summer, which is why we haven't been able to put up any videos lately or worked on the website. We've been from Wisconsin to the Little Mountain Preacher Camp up in, I forget, it's about an hour or two away from where we are. And then back up to Wisconsin, and then I went to D.C., and I'll be in Iowa soon, so it's just been really crazy, and so we're hoping to be able to put some more videos out soon. Once the school year's back in and running, we'll hopefully be able to take some time out when we're not traveling, and maybe make some more videos, maybe work on the website. But today, I'm going to finally take a break from my solo course, and I'm just going to be talking about something Noah's sort of touched on. I hope this isn't like intruding on his apologetics course, but today I want to discuss the existence of God. Is there a God out there? Now, my approach is going to be a little bit different from Noah's. Noah used the Bible and science and showed how they fit hand in hand and showed that God fits in with both. I'm not going to be doing that today because atheists love to discredit the Bible when discussing the existence of God. When discussing the existence of God, Christians will automatically turn to the Bible because, that's what we base our belief on. But atheists and evolutionists will say, nope, you can't use that. We don't know if that's a credible source. You haven't proven God exists. If you can prove God exists, then we'll turn to believing the Bible because that would mean it is inspired by Him. But until we know whether or not God exists, we can't trust the Bible. So, of course, this presents a problem because the Bible is the only place that we learn about God. But at least that's what you think. But today, I'm going to be using something atheists love to use against Christians back against them, and that would be scientific laws. This is something that atheists love to use against Christians, saying scientific laws say that something can't come from nothing. Matter can't be created from non-matter, so where did God come from? If in the beginning there was nothing, then there was God, what created God? And, of course, I can't turn to the Bible. I can't go to Genesis and say, well, you see, in Genesis it says this, because we don't know whether or not this is credible, because we don't know if God exists in the first place. But to understand why this is possible, you have to understand the nature of God. So I'm allowed to say who God is and what He is without turning to this book. And that would be that God is eternal. God doesn't apply to scientific laws because He has always been here, and He will forever be here. He was here before the beginning of time. Think of it like a circle. There's no beginning and there's no end. That's God. He never started, and He will never finish. He is omnipotent, omnipresent. He will always and forever be here. So that's how we explain how this breaks scientific laws. God is eternal. He created the world, which created scientific laws. He isn't bound by them. Now I'd like to turn this argument on its head. Atheists always say, you believe in God, He breaks scientific laws. Well, I'd like to point out that you believe in a God, and it breaks scientific laws. The God that evolutionists and atheists believe in is the Big Bang. This Big Bang came from nothing and created matter, breaking two scientific laws. You can't get something out of nothing. Well, it broke the same law twice, I guess. It came out of nothing, so that's something from nothing, and then it created more things out of nothing. So that's one scientific law broken twice by one thing. And so, how do they explain that? Well, the way evolutionists have explained this is that the Big Bang didn't come from nothing. It wasn't a God. It didn't come out of nothing. It actually came from a ball, and this ball expanded, and more matter began adding in. Okay, you've already broken the law once. You already added more matter, which is, of course, something out of nothing. But then, of course, here comes the question again. Where'd you get that ball? Where did this... It used to be 25 pounds of matter. It's gotten smaller and smaller as the theories changed. But where did it come from? See, we have an explanation for what we believe. It's that there's a supernatural being out there who defies natural laws, who is eternal. The evolutionists believe that there was this ball that we still don't know where it came from, and that for some reason it expanded, and for some reason it also broke scientific laws. Thing is, evolutionists are always saying we base our beliefs on science. We know we're right because we have science on our side. When in reality, it's breaking just as many scientific laws as the Bible does. But the Bible has an explanation. The Bible says that God is eternal. What do evolutionists have? In the end, it really all comes back down to faith. Where do you place your faith? Are you going to place it in a 25-pound, or at least it used to be, ball that exploded and created everything? Or are you going to place your faith in an omnipotent, omnipresent God who we see recorded in the Bible, which has survived thousands of years of scrutiny by skeptics and still has come up without one single contradiction that can't be explained? And I know everybody's going to say, oh, there are contradictions. There are alleged contradictions that can be explained. One of the funniest I ever saw was a contradiction somebody pulled up that said God was telling the preparation to Noah of the ark on how to save him and his family and the animals in the ark. And they compared that to God's instructions on how to create the Ark of the Covenant, saying that that was a contradiction, that it was the same ark God was telling how to build it different ways. These were completely different arks. So what I'm trying to say is, the Bible has never been found with a single flaw. It's been tested over thousands of years. It has 66 books written over a period of, again, thousands of years. And it doesn't have a single flaw in it. So are you going to place your faith, your beliefs, in the man-made theory that has changed several times throughout the years? Or are you going to put your faith in the rock-solid foundation of the Bible that hasn't changed once, that has never been found with any problems, with anything wrong? Where are you going to place your faith in the end? So that's one of the ways that we can prove God. Since God breaks scientific laws, we're not going to be able to prove him in a lab. But we prove him through, I guess the way I just did it would have been the process of elimination. There's really only three places the universe could have come from. Either the universe itself is eternal, either the universe came out of nothing, or it was created. And so, the universe isn't eternal. We know that. I think it was Albert Einstein and Edwin Hubble proved it. It was either Albert Einstein or Isaac Newton. I think it was Albert Einstein. They proved that the universe wasn't eternal by showing that it's actually expanding, that stars are leaving behind trails as they move across the sky. And so, if they're moving away, that means there would have had to have been a starting point. So, we know that the universe isn't eternal. So it really comes down to, did the universe come out of nothing, or was it created? So it really comes down to where you place your faith. Evolutionists aren't able to prove the Big Bang, despite what they tell you. They can't prove that out of nothing, or out of this small ball of matter, there was this explosion. We can't prove God, except through his word. And hopefully I'm going to do a later video on how to prove the inspiration of the Bible. And if I do that, that means, if I can prove in this video that God is real, and if I can prove in a later video that his word is inspired, that means that everything in his word is true, and that it should be followed. So, first let's get back to proving the existence of God. So that's one of the ways to prove it, is through the scientific law of matter from non-matter. And the next one is similar, life from non-life. I know this video is already too long. I know I tend to preach whenever I start on a video. So I'm going to try and finish it up here after showing what happens. What does it mean if life came from a primordial pond, or if it was created by an omnipotent God? So if life came out of nothing, if life was just zapped by electricity, really? There is no point. Life came from the pond and then turned into the reptiles. It turned into the birds. It turned into the mammals, which turned into the humans. So what does that mean? Really? Nothing. We're another animal. We're a more highly evolved version of these earlier creatures. We're able to communicate, so are the animals. We're able to build structures and things, so are some animals. Really, there's nothing different about us other than we're a little bit smarter. So that's really what life is. See, to the point of evolutionists, life is just nothing. It's have fun while you can, leave your imprint on Earth, try to make history, but in the end, what's that history going to mean? Really, nothing. But what does it mean if we were created? Again, let me turn back to that verse. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 24. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind, and it was so." Well, 25, and God said, and God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So God created all of the animals separate from man. Now that's important. That's showing that man is different. Listen to this. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness." God is a spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. If man was made in the image of God, that means what about us is like God? It's our spirit. It's our soul. We have something inside us that we can't measure that is important to us, that is a part similar to that of God. And so, what's our purpose on earth? Our purpose on earth is to make sure that that spirit goes where it's supposed to after our body is dead. The spirit means that there's something after death. Human beings live for a very short amount of time, like 80, 90 years if we're lucky. So what we accomplish during those years really isn't going to be all that significant. But if we have a spirit, if we have a soul, then that means there is something after this life. That this life has a purpose. We are reaching for a goal. And that when this life is over, we're simply moving on to the next phase. I don't know about you, but I really think that this second option, the one that we have a soul and that there's something after this miserable life, I really think that that is the more hopeful meaning. The one that really shows life does have a purpose and that we're here for a reason. So how did life get here? Well, if you ask an atheist, they'll say, there was this primordial sludge. Like, think of a pond at a farm. And it was full of all these chemicals and stuff, nothing alive. And then it got zapped by electricity, and then there was life. The first cell, the first organism. And slowly, over time, it grew and it grew bigger and larger, and soon it created something that we might see today, like a fish or a frog. And over millions of years, those creatures slowly slithered up onto the land, and over millions of years that turned into mammals and birds and things like that. And then over millions of years, we came along the line. That's why they need millions and billions of years to sell their theory, is that we know we've never recorded macroevolution in the way that they're showing. That something like a fish turning into something else, like a mammal or a bird or something like that, or a reptile, because it doesn't happen. We've never been able to record macroevolution, either through the fossil record or in life today. We've seen microevolution. I'm going to go ahead and disclaim that one. We've seen animals adapting to their environment, but we've never seen an animal go from one thing to another. That's why they need time, is so that they can maybe say, well, if the animal was millions of years, maybe this could have been possible. And so nobody can really disprove them, because we can't test something over millions of years. So that's where they say life came from. Over millions of years, life was just this pond that got struck with electricity, and slowly life began to form. I'm going to offer you an alternative. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." I know I said I wasn't going to turn to the Bible. That wasn't really an argument. That was just an alternative. That was just saying, if you believe that the universe came from nothing, then you believe that there was this primordial sludge, and that it got shocked by electricity, and that created life. But if you believe that the universe was created, then you can believe life was also created in a very short amount of time. And so those are really your options. Now I'm going to go through and show what each option means for life, if one or the other is true. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm sorry I got so long-winded. And I'm sorry that we haven't put a ton up this or last month. Like I've said, we've been super busy, but please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you want to be notified when we release more. We're hoping to do that as the school year progresses. And tell your friends about both our channel and our website, which you can find linked in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed it.